Hi friends. Today I wanted to draw some magnolias. I know they're pretty prevalent here in Southern California, and I just think they're so beautiful. Of course, some of them have that quin magenta that I love, and these big, beautiful white ones with this huge yellowish, yellow ochre center, just gorgeous. I love them. I've never picked them. I don't know if you even can, and they would survive. So I wanted to at least draw a few of them. So let's just start with, let's do this one first. Coming from this area right here, which I always draw in my pictures that I'm sketching because it gives me a good guideline to where my petals all need to be pointing to. And I'm just going to start with the middle petal here. And it's quite large. So I'm going to come around like that, and I'll go over this with pen for you so you can see a little bit better. And then this one in particular I took a picture of. It came out like this. And as long as my petal is coming back and directing the bottom of it, directing towards the center of that, I think that's what they call the ovary, then I call it a little pod there at the bottom, and then the stem is going to come out here, which, by the way, magnolia stems are kind of interesting. They have these little like branchy things coming out of them. I think is kind of interesting. So making my petals all come towards the center here. The next one I'm going to have also come around like this. And maybe part of that has a lip on it, and I'll go through this with pen too. And then one in the background here. Again, it's coming back and it's facing. So if you took a pencil, line all of these direct back to the center, and that's how your flower is going to look more proportionate. And then I'm just going to tuck one in the back here like that. So again, it's coming down towards the center. And they do have these kind of fun little branchy things, little twiggy things coming out. And then let's just make a little bud here, which I noticed also has these little twigs. Something like that. And they were a really interesting shape. There you go. So this one is a magnolia blooming, and then I'm going to go over this right now with a pen so you can see. Let me grab my pen. Let's use this one here. I have this, and I have this micron, but I think the micron might be a little too thin. Okay, let's use this one. This is an artist pen in medium. I think that's a good one. Beginning with this little middle piece here, which I like to have on there because it really gives me a guide of where each of my petals are pointing back to. And that's really so helpful for me. You can even draw pencil lines coming straight out from this if you like, and then erase them afterwards and just draw the petals around the lines. Let's go ahead, because the magnolias I saw here, this is what they were shaped like. They always had this kind of a big petal right in the middle. And then tucking one in the back here. So I begin with that middle petal. It's just kind of a good guide for me. And then I go in and I add my two sides. Trying to draw so I don't have my hand in front. And then maybe a little lip on that one. And then I already added this in the back here. Here's another one. Like this. So they've kind of got these almost football shaped petals. And the branches coming out. The ones I see around here are pretty woody or stocky. And they have these little nubs. So I'm going to draw those in. And then here's a bud. And it had what I would call the sepals coming out on each side. And the little bud. Now, these also follow along with your lines here. So they're all coming out from the center, like so. And this one, like so. Same, your lines are coming back towards the center of the flower. Something like that. So that's one magnolia blooming. Now let me get my pencil again. And there's almost more of a magnolia around here anyway. Maybe it's a little early for them. But a little bit more than a bud, but not quite to this point. And they were a little bit tighter. I'm going to draw the middle one like this. It's just kind of a good guide for me. And then one coming out to the side of that. And they're all coming back. I did notice too, the end here, they seem to really taper in. And then a side petal here, like that. Maybe one in the back here. And the one I took a picture of kind of came down like this. And because it covered those front petals, I'm going to erase those marks. Something like that. Yeah, I like that. And then there was one big one in the back. So they almost came down into this like little funnel. And then the branch went sideways. And here was another little bud, this one a little bit tighter, like that. Let me go over that with my marker for you. So I started with this one in the center, and then I erased the lines. I then went to the one next to it, like that, on the side. This other one on the side, and it comes kind of down into this funnel shape here. And that front petal kind of covering. And then a couple sticking out from the back. Again, I would go in here and do these little lines. I noticed they were quite pink at the base and kind of turned into more of a white up near the top. And the branches were really kind of wonky. Here's this little bud, like that. So these were kind of the three that I noticed. Now, if I was painting these, I would probably paint one of these in a lighter shade since it's more in the back. That's just how I would do it. Now, another flower I love, it's maybe one of my favorite next to the peony, is an open white magnolia. They used to have these up in Chico. My daughter went to college up in Chico. And the flower, we get them here too though. The flowers up there were just huge and so beautiful. I'm going to walk you through how I best can paint these because they can be a little bit tricky, I think. I'm first going to draw the center. So here's that center. And then I'm going to draw a circle around it. You've seen me do this before. And I'm going to use guidelines. So because the petals are so large, there's not going to be a lot of petals, maybe 5 or 6. So there's one. And we want them all coming back to the middle, like that. Like that. Now, once I have kind of this pinwheel, I can make sure my petals are all facing back to the center. I'm going to start with this first big petal in the back. They taper in just a bit, and then they are very round. They are so beautiful, like that. I'm going to do another one on the side following this curve. What distinguishes them for me is how big these petals are. They're so beautiful. I'm going to do another one right here, very round, like that. Maybe one coming out here. And then I want to make that front one where the lip comes up. So I'm drawing the bottom of the petal. And then here is this lip, like that. Something like that. And we've got one more petal over here, which I'm going to curve around, but it's still, the base of it is coming back to the middle. You're kind of seeing a little bit of the side, so we're going to create that lip like so. Hopefully you can see that. I'll go back in and use pen. The fun thing about this is it has this really fun, funky little, the center of the flower, which is so fun. It had like these little pieces coming out, filaments, I guess you could call them, and a beautiful round center that also had these little filaments. I'm sure that's where all the nectar is, and the bees probably love it. And it was bright yellow. And then as well, these leaves are so majestic. And I think I'm going to create a little bit of a lip on this one too. There we go. These leaves are so the petals are so majestic, as well as the leaves here. The leaves here are really large and waxy and a deep green. So I'm going to create some of those. Maybe a little one peeking out there. And then let's do one here. like that. These leaves were really large, which makes sense. They would have to be large to be able to have such a large flower. There we go. Just a few more, maybe right here. Something like that. Maybe one here. There you go. Let me go ahead and draw that in, and then I'm going to erase the lines here. Everything going back to this center. All my petals going back towards that. I'm actually going to draw this piece too, so you can see how my petals all go back towards that. And then I did this line here, side one. So all the petals are curling back towards that middle. So they're all curving back. This one on the side, like that. Made that one a little bit bigger. And then this front one, which you see the lip of. And to me, that's what really distinguishes this Magnolia, is how big and beautiful and regal these petals are. Like that. And let's do our big leaves. Maybe one poking out here. Like that. And these leaves are really thick and strong and shiny. There you go. Maybe another one right here. And then this had all these little filaments on it as well. And it was bright yellow. They're bright yellow, which makes them so beautiful, such a beautiful contrast against the white, just this ivory white, beautiful flower. So there you go. This one being the side view. Remember, we went towards the center of the flower here. And this was the shape from the side. And then we just filled in with all our petals, making sure all the petals go back to the base, like this. And same with this one. We did the base here. And then all our petals go back to the base. So you could have them coming out from any place as long as they're leading back to that, I think they call it the ovary in there, the base of the flower. You should be pretty safe. Now I'm going to go through and just erase my lines. I didn't want to erase it right away in case my ink was still kind of wet. And I usually use my bigger eraser because these little erasers get worn down pretty quick. These are those pencils I told you about, which I absolutely love, love, love. They're the Blackwing. I will put them in there if you want, and you just replace this little eraser. But I love the erasers because they're real little and thin. I've been using those for several years. Pardon the camera shake. So I'm erasing all these guidelines that I drew in, like that. And there you go. Now you've got your magnolias. Next, I think I will paint them in a different video. This actually had a line going like that too. And what I will do is make these more of a quin magenta in here and then come out to a white. The branches on these magnolias very thick and they kind of take some twists and turns. And this one, the big thing I notice is these big giant waxy green leaves and very white with some touches of gold and a bright yellow center, which I thought was so beautiful. So again, if you started with a circle here, a side circle, because it's a bud, it's a tighter circle, and then just drawing in your magnolias within that circle, making sure that your leaves point to the center, you should be good. So this one is a fully open magnolia. There we go. All right. I hope that was kind of fun to watch. I sure love sketching them. And I think when you can use that circle, it makes it a lot easier. If you'd like to see more on that, let me know. Again, we started with this circle like this. Then we drew lines, or that's how you could do it. I don't think I did that this time. This one, drawing a circle, drawing the lines, and then creating those petals around the lines like we did here. I drew in the center, I made a circle, and then I drew in the lines. That will help you. So that was just so huge for me to draw these lines, so it really kept my petals going in the right direction. All right, everybody, thank you so much. If somebody would like to see me paint these, please let me know. I will. I may anyway. I think they'd be really fun. We could do a lot of wet and wet for these areas down at the base. I think they could be a lot of fun. Okay, everybody, I hope that helped, and I hope you give it a try, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much.